you make them a better player, you make them a better citizen, you teach them some things about life,
right.
you know. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to use my trauma, what I went through, but I can give some examples of some, you know, I mean, put your head down and get through something,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Things will get better, you know. Things
Yeah.
aren't always going to be bad whether after a tough loss or whatever, you know. It's not gonna be that way forever. You're gonna win the next game, win the next battle.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the Talk About It podcast. I'm Lauren Fulmer.
I'm Victor Dantas.
And we're really excited today, getting to catch up with a longtime friend, Jason Wessels.
Yes,
Jason,
sir.
how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here. Ran into you a couple weeks ago and been excited ever since you mentioned coming on here.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah. Absolutely.
We ran into each other and he was like, man, that podcast, you guys are doing good work. You're doing good. So we
Doing
appreciate your support and checking it out.
Yes.
But also coming and jumping on with us. And
Yes, sir.
we'll talk about all types of stuff.
Yep. Kind of a winging it situation, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's all we
talk.
do.
Yeah,
We just
I like
wing,
it. I
shoot
like
from
it.
the hip, man.
I like it. I do a podcast with Sam Statisky. I was telling Victor, we kind of cover streaks, sports.
Yeah.
We've only done a couple episodes, but we're trying. Once basketball gets going, he interns for us. He's a senior in high school. He's kicker for the football team, all-state soccer player. Did double duty. So all of fall, I kind of let him do his thing. He was, you know, very busy with football. All conference kicker, all-state soccer player.
That's cool.
And then I also, at the time, I had neck surgery in July, so I've been kind of rounding back into form, so to speak. And I also do color commentating for Galesburg basketball. So we start the season tomorrow.
Yeah.
Turkey tournament. I know you remember the old turkey tournament in the days
Yeah,
at
I sure
Galesburg.
do.
Turkey tournament?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Oh,
you know,
Just a basketball tournament. That's what they call
yeah,
it.
Okay.
teams from all over
Yep.
will come and play.
Okay.
They'll host it.
Yeah, we'll host it.
at
It's
Galesburg.
it's Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. The Wednesday games, we're the only home game Wednesday, and then Friday and Saturday, all the teams show up at Galesburg. They're using the new field house and the gym, field gym, of course. And, just, you know, two action field days of basketball to kick off the season and get things going here in the right direction. Hopefully, you know, it's a little bit of a rebuild for the Galesburg basketball program right now, and they're young. Only got 3 seniors on the team, and
Their coach is young.
coaching young.
Coach Thompson.
Chad Thompson,
Yeah.
former Galesburg. You know, and it seems to be the theme at Galesburg right now. It's all the sports have Galesburg guys that are coaching. Derek Blackwell and Jeremy Pickerel coaching baseball and football. And it's great to see, you know, the Galesburg products coming back home. And
How cool is it for you? You know, you're on the 19. Well, you had graduated in 98,
98
but
state team.
you were part of you know, the exciting
Yes.
Joey Range era.
Yeah, Joey Range, Rod Thompson.
Went to state.
Yes.
So yeah, how cool is that for you to be part of all of that?
You know, I was gone. It was hard for me to come back in the gym. I'm not gonna lie. I only went to a handful of games just because of everything I went through and having basketball taken from me at a young age. It just, you know, the emotions are there. And I was approached last year by Nick Young, another one of our good friends.
Bodine.
Big old Bodine.
I like to call him Bodine.
Bodine. Well, he's got several nicknames.
Yeah.
And he approached me about, you know, Galesburg WGIL had an open spot, and Brad Benowitz is the longtime play-by-play guy and does an amazing job. He's winning the Hall of Fame last year, IBCA, Galesburg Hall of Fame, all the awards. I mean, he's been doing it since like 93 or 94 for Galesburg. And he reached out a hand, and he's made it super easy transition for me. I never did it before. You know, I didn't go to school for any of this. And
Right.
he's like, would you be interested in, you know, joining me on broadcast and color commentating? And I jumped at the chance. You know, it was nerve-wracking at first, just going back in the gym. And like I said, the whirlwind of emotions of,
Right.
you know, just, I used to play here. I got it all taken from me. We talked about it a little bit earlier, you know, just my deal with meningitis and all that I went through. And just the ability to get back in the gym and get back around basketball. I'd also spent some years coaching basketball at Knoxville and Elmwood. So, and I had been off, you know, probably 10 years from coaching. And I had the itch to get back into the game. And my girlfriend Lacey was like, you should do it. You should jump at it. And we talked about it, and there I am. Now it's year 2, getting ready to start. It's exciting.
Live on the radio.
Live on the radio.
Yeah,
It's,
I spent 10 and a half years, you know, doing that.
We've talked about that several times.
Same, no background in it.
Yep.
I can sit down and talk pretty easily,
Yep.
but man,
it's easy when you just, all you gotta do is talk.
But that first time,
The first
of
time,
live, you're like, dude, I'm live. Don't say
No, yeah,
Don't say nothing dumb.
you can't cuss, and you know, watching sports, cussing is part of it. You tend to cuss every once in a while, but I overcame all that. And, you talk about that first time. The nerves were there. The sweat was pouring. I'm hoping not to mess up. I'm hoping, everybody enjoys the broadcast. And as the season went on, it probably took me a good 2 weeks to learn, everything. I think the biggest thing when you're doing color commentating is the timing. He gives you your little spots to get in, and learning the timing for, I was just trying not to step on toes. I didn't want to. He was so good at what he does.
Right.
Play by play, it's effortless for him. And I was like, man, just don't mess this up. Don't mess up his play by play. And there was at the beginning, there was some growing pains of, I came in a little too early. He was still talking, and I tried to, I see something on the court and I'm trying to explain it to the audience, and but by about halfway through the season, I was good to go, and now I'm ready. I'm excited. I always tell my friends I try to be a mixture between Stacey King and Ron Santo. I'm the fan guy. I do. I want them to win. I want them to win at every level. I'm a Silver Streak at heart. And we got to be biased, to some degree. But at the end of the day, I want Galesburg to win. Right. I want to win games. I want to win regional championships, sectional championships, state championships. Like you said, we talked about it. Going to state 1998 was probably the coolest experience you can have as a high school athlete, going to state. And I want these kids to experience that. It's something that not a whole lot of people get to experience. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of something special. Obviously my season and my career got cut short. But other than that, I still made it back by the end of the season. I was there for the state tournament run, played against multiple NBA players, watched my team play against multiple NBA players. It's something nobody can ever take from us, here in small little Galesburg.
Yeah. So do you guys travel to away games as well?
Yes, we travel. We cover every game. And we're one of the few in the conference that actually does it. The Quad City says Quad City Sportsnet, and they're basically, they try to cover every Quad City team, home and road, but sometimes they don't go out on the road. For us, we're fortunate enough, WJL covers everything. We get meals, we get hotels if we have to stay overnight. It's been a great experience, and being able to give these kids recognition.
You guys still get a car from a sponsor?
Yes, Nissan.
Yeah,
Nissan covers
I knew a local business. They sponsored the keys to the road or keys to the game or something.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Sponsors everything, and it's almost like I don't want to say big, but it is. It's big time.
It is.
I mean, we got sponsored cars. We get meals. We're taken care of.
So what has been your experience too? Because one thing, when I got in radio, I didn't know a thing about it. Right. And then, so you have this free product. We all get to listen for free, and you never stop and really think about how is this getting put into place through advertising,
sponsorships, and Brad's. And like I said, he's been
a boss.
He's got the commercials memorized. They just flow off his tongue.
That's how mine are. After 10 years, and you just start rattling.
You just remember it, and it's gotten to the point now where I can probably rattle off a couple of the Dave's Auto Body Crunch Time Player of the Games, and what is it? Courtright Construction in Oneida. We that one.
It's so fun, and just to see the money tied to it.
Yes.
And why does it take money? Because you got travel expenses, hotel, food.
Yes. And
you got to cover your costs.
I was telling Victor when I came in, this past fall is my first time. I was doing studio engineering for the football games, and that's seeing the other side of it. Seeing what is actually put. It's more than just talking into a microphone. There's commercials that got to be played on time. There's commercials that got to be moved because minutes in the game, you miss a timeout, so you have to come back to it. It gives you a deep appreciation for the radio business. I mean, it
changed my life.
No,
it really did.
It's changed mine. It's
did.
changed mine. The ability, like I said, bacterial meningitis. I've been on disability and stuff my whole life, and it's given me the ability to work and get back into things, more normal routine. And I can't say enough about what it's done for me in my life. My girlfriend, like living at home and raising kids and doing the whole thing and being able to be a part of all that and make sure that everything is good on the home front. The ability to help. I don't know where I'm going. Like
I feel like I do.
Helping the family out. It was always just me.
Right.
It was just me. I just had to worry about myself. And now I'm a part of a family unit, and bringing in that extra money and seeing the kids grow and be a part and do extra things because of the money I bring. Like it just all ties together. And it's like I said, it's changed my life. It's
a blessing, man.
Yeah, a blessing for sure.
In what ways did radio change your life?
How I view things. I mean, you used to just be so oblivious to everything, you know. I mean, even our screen. Yeah. You know, there's messages being put in front of us at all times.
Yes.
Our cell phones right now, I mean, are feeding us garbage of all different levels, right?
Yes, all the time.
And good things.
Too. Yeah, good things too. Absolutely. Things too. But you know, what I mean? We're just constantly, if you really, I feel like for me personally, before that experience and being thrown into like, oh no, everything out here has got something going. Yes. You go out to dinner at a restaurant and there's, you know, whether it's some tables, they'll have like logos that they've sold and put on the table. Menus quite often have even other sponsors and things put on top of there. The commercial, you know, you're watching a ball game and it'll pop up like the new episode of Walking Dead or whatever show, you know, there's always things being pushed in front of us.
Exactly.
Bumper stickers, billboards, you know, airplanes flying with a banner behind it. You know what I mean? It goes on and on and on.
And marketing.
And now that being exposed to it and seeing like the revenue, the money, I mean, people, I always say, here's one thing with radio, you know, people would be like, man, radio is old, you know, it's going out of style. We've been hearing that for years. Oh, yeah. It's not. As long as it's free, people are going to be messing with it for sure.
Yes.
And then, like what's crazy, what I would say in the sales standpoint of it is if McDonald's, for example, one of the biggest corporations in our world, and they know how many seeds are on every like bun, right? They're not just throwing money away. No, right. And if these people are still doing radio, I can promise you it's effective.
Yep, it's definitely effective.
That's what I mean. I promise you it works because they wouldn't be doing it.
Definitely effective. And
they're not just throwing money away.
We talked about, like I said, Dave's Crunch Time player, Dave's Auto Body. You know, he every game, football and basketball, there's a Dave's Crunch Time Auto Body player of the game.
Dave's a marketing machine.
He is a machine.
I will give that to him.
He is a machine.
He's got the Gator sauce in restaurants.
It's in almost every restaurant in Galesburg.
Yeah.
And in Gator sauce, his one?
Yeah. And it's just it's a Dave's Gator. It's another impression. It might not even be good hot sauce. I actually like it on the Hungry Hobo potato.
I do like it.
That's the only thing I've really jammed out with it. The Hungry Hobo potato. You can get down.
And like you said, he's a machine. It's at every restaurant.
He's on the back of city buses.
The bus stops. I mean, it's everywhere.
So, I mean, but he understands.
Yes.
He gets it. Gets it. So it's hard when you're trying to talk to some business owners. Especially a new business, man, they got a lot of their money already tied up and now you're asking me for another $1,000 a month. Like, nah, I can't do that, right? Well, you're going to need to. You have to advertise.
You have to advertise.
This is not if you build it, they will come world.
Right.
And they might that first week. And if you're not advertising and reminding people that you're here, good luck, dude. Good luck.
Yeah, branding is extremely important. That's why we always talk about that here with our clients. I mean, marketing doesn't do miracles. It's not like a magic. You need to consistently put your brand in front of people.
Yes.
So, so that branding perspective, like when people need that service or product, then they will remember you.
Yep.
It's not 100%. Something.
Right. So, like, there's we're getting all off on stuff now, but it's like hot and cold. So, at all times, you think about advertising. You play this message. At all times, these listeners are going through, and some of them are hot, like, oh my God, I need a new car.
Yes.
And then there's hundreds and thousands of them that don't. And it falls on somewhat deaf ears.
Falls on deaf ears.
We think. But it's intrusive. It gets into their head. Our brain files stuff.
Yes.
To when all of a sudden you have that need, you think, oh my gosh, that's why I call so-and-so.
Or you know someone that needs that and you say, I know a company that does that.
I can't even remember where I heard it, but I heard of these people. You should call them. It's so real. And like I said, I wouldn't have stuck 10.5 years at the radio station if it wasn't real or effective. If I didn't truly believe I was helping these business. It's real.
Yeah, it is real. And like you said, it's a free product, and not everybody can make it out to the basketball games. You know, grandparents, kids, uncles, aunts, and everything's streaming now. I got Kevin Hyman, good friend of ours,
Yeah.
lives out in New Jersey. He listened to every one of our basketball games last year.
That's the best part about the games,
And,
right?
you know, and it's free for him. He just hops on WGL.com and boom.
Yeah.
And he's listening.
Your uncle in California
And
can
listen.
tune in and
Yes.
listen.
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
And they
dope.
can follow the players, and,
Right.
and it's the best. And like I said, it's about the players at the end of the day. Get these kids recognition. Let's hope some of them go to school and become great citizens and make great lives and make millions of dollars doing whatever, you know.
Right.
And if just them getting a little bit of broadcast, you know, recognition, and that helps them get to college just a little bit, whether it's a scholarship or a kid going to Sandburg to play basketball, I'm all for it. You know, it's all about the future of these kids, and
It is.
and that's the future of our society. So
Right.
we want them to be as successful as possible when they're, you know, grown citizens, as opposed to high school kids.
No, when I heard you jumped on with WGIL for the play-by-play, I was like genuinely like, who better? Dude?
Yeah, no,
Like, how
I do,
awesome is that?
and you know, and it's people like you that say that, and it means the world to me. Everybody says it. Oh, you know, you were nervous at first, but we can tell you're enjoying it, and you know the game, and you know that means the world to me. You know, hearing people say, okay, well, you know, what I am doing is helping. You know, people enjoy listening to me. Like I said, if I can come across energetic and cheer these kids on, you know, I give the kids nicknames, and like, I try to literally be Stacey Key. I want to pump these kids up and get them the most and get them the most recognition possible.
That's
You know,
awesome.
especially Galesburg High School. You know, that's our alma mater. You know,
Right.
it's where we went. We walked them halls, and you know, it's not the same school we walked anymore. You know,
Right.
it's a complete makeover.
Yeah, they've
place
done a good job.
Place is incredible.
Yeah.
State of the art, everything. Bathrooms, everything.
Yeah.
State of the art.
Jason, you've hit a couple times mentioning, you know, how basketball was taken from you with the bacterial meningitis. I kind of have an idea what it was because I was with you. You know, we grew up same age and everything, but kind of what is that and how did it affect you?
It was basically like a blood. The way I understand it, basically like it attacked my blood.
Okay.
I had basically septicemia. What happened was I had mono at the time. You know, we went hard. We were number 2 in the state. We practiced hard, played hard every day. I was tired. I was wore out. It was right around Christmas in '97. I just thought, okay, it's just normal fatigue from playing hard and going through practices. And I wake up Christmas morning and go to my grandma's, and I start to feel like I had the flu.
Christmas morning.
Christmas Day.
Wow.
Go to my grandma's and do the whole family thing, you know, afternoon lunch, all that. End up going to my girlfriend's at the time and drive into town. I lived in Henderson, so I drive into Galesburg, and I remember passing around just right around St. Mary's, and I just completely broke out in a terrible sweat, like I said, very, very lightheaded, dizzy almost. And I get to my girlfriend's, and I just had to lay down. I couldn't do anything, and I'm trying to do Christmas with her, and we're trying to exchange presents. She had family coming over. It was a big thing, you know?
Right.
And I basically pass out. I wake up, and it's probably 5 or 6 o'clock, and they have a family tradition of going to a movie every Christmas night, like a lot of families do. Mm-hmm. And we go down to the Old West Cinema. It's not there anymore. It's tore down now. And we were going to see the Titanic, and I get sick, like throwing up, projectile vomiting. Basically, I always tell people, I basically overflowed the toilet at the West Cinema. I mean, I had stuff just coming out. I couldn't stop. And end up not even watching the movie, go back home and pass back out. Just felt like absolute the worst you could possibly feel. And all in my head, I'm thinking, okay, we got a game tomorrow. You know, I got to get this out of me. I want to play tomorrow. And like I said, we're state ranked team,
right,
number 2 in the state. We're getting ready to go to our Christmas tournament, and I'm still trying to get a college scholarship of some sort. I had, you know, a couple letters here and there, some offers, but nothing big, junior colleges.
Sure.
But I was trying to get to school for free.
Yeah.
And so the day after Christmas, her mom ends up taking me back home. And I didn't even drive my car back home. Her mom had to drive me home. And that entire night, my bedroom was upstairs in my house. And I remember walking downstairs and my feet just throbbing, hurting, killing, just the worst pain I've ever felt. Couldn't drink enough water, coming out of both ends, throwing up. I mean, I was just miserable. End up pulling out the couch downstairs, laying down. My mom comes to get me up at like 5:30 in the morning because like we were getting ready to get on a bus to go to our Christmas tournament. I go to sit up and I had my contacts out, so I couldn't really see. And I went to stand and I couldn't stand. The pain was excruciating, like the worst pain you could feel times a million. Just could not stand up. I looked down at my arm and had like a little splotch of like a purple spot on my arm. I'm like, man, what is going on? You know, like this ain't normal. My mom comes in and she was an LPN, so she knew something wasn't right. Immediately gets my stepdad at the time. They had to carry me to the car, rush me to St. Mary's. The people at St. Mary's saved my life. They knew something wasn't right. They just start throwing me full of antibiotics. You know, I'm laying in the emergency room, and the emergency room is nothing near what it used to be at St. Mary's. It's been completely rebuilt now. But at the old one, you came around the back side at the old St. Mary's. Yeah. And I remember coming in and I was just out of it. I felt like I couldn't remember anything. My brain was just scrambled. And I see my grandma coming in and my dad's coming in and they're all crying. And I in my head, I didn't think anything was wrong. I'm thinking, okay, I got the flu. Mom, call Coach Miller. I'll be okay. Tell him I'll drive myself to Burlington, whatever. I'll be there, or Bloomington. I'll be there. Little did I know I was in for a fight of my life.
Right.
They end up, you know, like I said, pumping me full of antibiotics. They didn't know exactly what I had at St. Mary's. They just knew it wasn't good. Life flighted me to OSF St. Francis. And I remember coming out and they were putting me on the helicopter and I could feel the blades, you know, and still in just excruciating pain. My legs were starting to hurt worse and worse and it was moving up. Like now my knees are starting to hurt. I'm like, man, what is going on? And I remember grabbing the life flight nurse. I was just like, man, give me something for the pain, please. Something for the pain. And I was out. And I wake up and it's like January 9th or January 10th. And they tell me, you know, they had to medically induce me into a coma. And they woke me up and they tell me, well, you know, your fingers are basically what happened. It was basically like I got mummified. The blood attacked, it's septicemia. My hands turned black, my legs turned black, my nose turned black. And thank good Lord that my nose came back. You know, it came back, but my hands and feet, and they're telling my mom, they were trying to rub this lotion and stuff in my hands and on my feet and trying to get circulation back. They tell my mom, well, it's so bad now, his finger could break off in your hand while you're rubbing that in there. And my mom was like, well, that's when I knew we had to make the decision to amputate. And 10 fingers and legs below the knees. And, you know, I was 17 at the time. And, you know, as a 17-year-old kid, having that told to you, it doesn't process. Mm-hmm. You know, you just think, man, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to go play basketball again. You know, I'm thinking, okay, tips of fingers, tips of toe. I didn't look at they had my hands bandaged up, obviously, after everything. You know, I think it was like the 13th and 14th of January is when they ended up doing the amputations. And, you know, I go through a month of rehab at St. Francis. I didn't get out of the hospital until the end of February. And I wouldn't look. I kept it bandaged up. My mom was telling me, well, you know, your fingers are gone. And I was like, no, I can feel them. You know, the feeling of them still being there. They call it phantom pains.
Right.
And it's a real thing. Like I felt like my hands were there, my legs were like, I still didn't have my contacts in, so I couldn't see anything. And I just think, I'm thinking in my head, okay, I'm fine. I'm going to be okay. And then, you know, towards the end, you know, I had some physical therapists that were like, look, your life's never going to be the same. And they kind of, you know, put it in my head, this is how life's going to be for you now. And there were some tough days. There were some dark days there, you know, right. And it was tough. You know, I you know, why me? That type of thing that creeps in.
Absolutely,
it does.
And being 17, you're not 17, even the most mature.
Yeah, you know, I was still a kid. And I was telling you before, you know, we was talking here earlier. I get out of OSF and I go to Shriners, and Shriners Hospital is the most amazing group of people for kids that walk this earth. I mean, everything there is free. Everything is taken care of. These are, you know, $100,000 surgeries some of these kids have to get. And I was telling you, that put into perspective for me what, you know, my situation ain't that bad. I was telling you, I've seen kids that have to spend the rest of their lives in wheelchairs and laying down in wheelchairs. And the story I was conveying to you guys earlier that really stuck with me was the girl from Iraq, she had to have been no older than 2 or 3 years old, and her village was hit by some sort of bomb at the time, and half of her head was caved in, and her equilibrium was off, and she would crawl 2 or 3 steps, or 2 or 3 crawls, and then just fall over. But then she would get back up, do it again, fall over. But there was a toy, it's 15 feet from her, and they were working with her, obviously, trying to get her to, go through some sort of therapy. But I'll be damned if that kid didn't make it to that toy. And when she made it to that toy and the joy on her face, it put everything into perspective for me. Like, things aren't always as bad as they can be. Things can always be worse. I was given 4 hours to live at one point. They told my mom, call in the priest. He's probably not going to make it, and, thanks to the good Lord. And I'm fortunate enough to be here today talking to you guys, and I've lived a great life. It's been fun. I've had obstacles, sure. Mm-hmm. My normal day-to-day things ain't the same as everybody else's, but I'm still here, and I'm still a productive member of society, and I'm helping raise some kids that are some of the best kids in the entire world. Right. And it's,
amen. Dude.
Things can always be worse, and things can always get better. Yeah. And in my case, they've gotten better and better. And I'm a part of a family now that I'll be honest with you, I never thought I was going to have a family. I spent 25 years basically, well, not 25, but about 22 and a half, I guess, single. Not, I dated and here and there, but I'd never really had family on the radar. Mm-hmm. And now I got that, and it just shows you that things get better. Things can get better. Things will get better.
They will, with the right attitude.
With the right attitude, it's part of it. You can't. We talked a little about the people want to always say, "Woe is me," things are terrible, whatever. But things aren't always bad. They can always be worse. Right. Always. And that's that's the one thing I always try to convey to anybody. Whether I was coaching, talking to kids. I've done some public speaking at basketball camps, stuff like that. And that's the one thing I always try to convey is things can always be worse, but they will get better. Things can always get better too. So it's life, and we all go through. We all have trials and tribulations. And I'm not trying to put anybody's trauma above anybody else's.
Sure.
So it's I'm thankful to be here. Yeah. I'm thankful to be sitting here talking with you guys.
I remember hearing about it when I would have been. It was 97. 97.
Right? You'd have been a junior. You're behind me, right?
And I just remember hearing that and being like, even as a kid, like, what?
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
What happened? What do you mean?
Just out of nowhere, and that's the thing. Still, I don't know where it came from. Like I said,
what is the reason? There's no reason.
No. Like I said, I had mono at the time, so my immune system was down.
Yeah, mono will attack and weaken your immune system.
It weakens your immune system, and the way it was explained to me is my immune system was so messed up from that this other thing snuck in the back door.
And it's super rare, right?
Yeah, super rare.
It is
super
like
rare.
Rare
Well, people, the way I was, it was, the specialist conveyed it to me was that, people get this, you get all kinds of illnesses, but your immune system fights it off. My immune system was way down, and it couldn't fight it off. So like I said, it snuck in the back door, and it changed my life, basically. And like I said, I don't know where it came from. It could have been a water supply. It could have been, the one thing that sticks out to me the most is, and we went down to St. Louis for a big time basketball game. We played Lafayette. We played against Ryan Howard, who played for the Philadelphia Phillies. Robert Archibald was a member of the Illinois basketball team. Yeah. Like, we played this big time team, nationally ranked. First game we lost all season was down in St. Louis to this team. Well, the backup goalie for the St. Louis Blues, we played where the Blues played. It was the Kiel. I don't know what it was called, the Kiel Center at the time. I can't remember what it's called now. Backup goalie gets the meningitis. He fights it off. Nothing happened to him. They caught it in time. His immune system wasn't, they got the best of best doctors for pro sports teams. Well, a girl that was also, a little 3-year-old girl that was also at a Blues game at the Kiel Center also got exactly what I got, and she did not make it. She died. So that's where I tend to think it came from. I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
There's no fact or fiction which way, but
it's coincidental.
Coincidental.
How do you catch
coincidental.
meningitis?
I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, it was just, there's several different types. There's spinal meningitis. There's bacterial meningitis. Meningitis is I didn't even know what it was when it hit me. You know,
I'd never heard of it.
Never
when
even,
they said
never,
Jason Geiger,
never
like,
even heard of it.
It was so clueless.
And I was one of the first ones that actually made it, because when people get it, they die. It's very fatal. And I made it, and I remember that they started pushing meningitis vaccines, and like kids had to start getting the shots, and like this was never a thing. That was never.
Right.
And then like it just started happening late 90s and early 2000s, and more kids started getting it. It was people in college were getting it, and that's when they started, you know, producing a vaccine for it. And I've taken the vaccine, so I don't get it again, obviously. So
I can't believe you fought off a whole day of Christmas Day.
No, I did.
Going to the Titanic.
Yeah, I tried.
Like, I mean, I can't even imagine. You
no,
know?
and it's a crazy story, because I talk about Kevin Hyman, my best friend, listening in on games. Him and his family were right behind me, in the row behind me at the Titanic. At the Titanic.
That's crazy.
And it's I mean, the story, it goes full circle. There's so much to it. You know, just the people that were involved, and it was life-changing. I mean, there's no other way to describe it really, but I'm thankful that I'm here, you know, and that's the only way you can be. You know? You got to keep a positive attitude. You know, like I said, things can always be worse. But so you know, that was that story. And I spent some time at Shriners, put things in perspective, and you know, learning to walk again. You know, prosthetics and the whole thing. It was a grind, but you know,
test your patience.
Oh,
I can only imagine.
Yeah, you know, I'm 18. And all my friends are going off to college, and you know, doing the partying thing, and still playing sports. And here I am using a walker that I've never used before, learning to teach myself to walk again.
Right.
That was basically my college. And
I can't even fathom that, Jason.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
being that age, and being
and it was tough. It was tough.
What's it called? I'm thinking of trying to think of the word, but I mean, basically, just I would almost initial feeling is just gonna be hate, man.
Oh,
like,
no,
so
it did. It like I said, the why me, you get that.
Yeah.
You get the pissed,
patience that it would
pissed
have
off
required.
Being pissed off at the world, and you know, this ain't fair, and you know, and like I said, it didn't take long. By March, when I went to Shriners after our basketball season was over, it was like a slap in the face. You know, look at this, look at these kids. You know, your situation ain't that bad.
Right.
You know, I'm getting up. I'm able to walk again. I can drive a car. I can do all the things. You know, these kids not going to have a chance in life to do any of these things.
Yeah.
And like I said, you see that, it'll put it in perspective. It really will.
Real quick.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's a story. It's you know, it's 20. That was what it's been. It's 2023, so it's been 25 years now, and it still just feels like yesterday. It feels like. And I think you guys can. Time moves. It moves fast. I feel like we were just in high school. I mean, we were talking about the other night all the things we used to do in high school, and the funny things we used to do and you used to do, and man, it feels like yesterday. But this clock doesn't stop for anybody, man. It just moves.
That's right.
So now, like I said, I'm doing radio now, and I've fallen in love with it. It's a passion of mine now, and I'm hoping it takes off. I hope, you know, I don't plan on going anywhere for basketball. I plan on being the color commentator for the Streaks for years to come.
That's cool. Do you think you'll get to where you may do the play-by-play down the road?
You know, I've a guy that some people are familiar with around the area, John Ring, just passed away. He was a broadcaster, 80s, 90s, worked for, like, what was the station? It used to be called WAG or
WAIK.
WAIK,
Yeah.
there it is. And he worked for there, and he would do play-by-play by himself. He had no color commentators. And I met him, and he passed away this past summer. And he was very influential on me, talking about doing play-by-play. And this is a guy that has done play-by-play for Cubs games, Cardinal games, big-time Cardinals fan. He's met the famous of the famous, Stan Musial, anybody you can name. He's met them. He knows them by heart, like good friends with them. And he tells me the goal should be for you to do play-by-play one day.
Yeah.
And I think about it, and I love doing the color because there's not as much pressure.
Yeah, way better.
I mean, you're play-by-play. I watch Brad. Like I said, Brad's incredible at what he does, and it's effortless for him.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking in my head, okay, so you got 10 guys on the court to start every game, And then each team brings in 3 to 4 or 5 main players off the bench. So you're talking 18 kids you got to know on each side of the ball. And then that's not counting the kids that don't play, that come in at the end of the game. And you still got to give them their recognition when they get it. And he's so effortless at it, and he knows the names, and that's my hardest thing. It's like
so sick.
I'm good at, you know, Galesburg kids. Like,
Yeah.
I know you guys. But then you go on the road.
To do the play-by-play like Sean Temple
Yes.
does. I don't know. Have you met Sean, by the way?
I know who he is.
Such a stud.
Yeah.
Like, I love the dude. I've worked with him for 10 and a half years, and like the dude is super impressive.
No,
dude.
it's
it's not only memorizing. It requires high skills.
Oh,
to
you are
operate the
paying
game.
attention
Yeah,
to
you
say
gotta pay
like
attention.
Summers brings the ball
Yes,
up, passes
yes.
Patterson on the
Yeah.
wing.
The
Yeah.
lingo, it's hard.
Oh
to
my
know
God.
the right
Yeah.
expression, the right words
right,
you're using
at the right time,
Yeah.
every time. And like I said, the color commentary's job is easy. I just talk after the play.
Yeah.
You know,
There's so many things, you know, like, oh, the Streaks are wearing the gold and black uniforms, you know,
Yeah.
like there's all the stuff that you point
Yeah.
out, and you're painting this picture. It's an
and that-
art.
and that's what I try to do. I
Yeah.
try to paint a picture. I do the same thing every game. I try to describe the uniforms, what each team's wearing, and I try to describe the action on the court. You know, like what happened in this play when it's my turn to talk. You know, like he came off the left wing and finished with the left hand strong, and you know, just little things. And like you said, it's painting a picture. You got to be a Picasso for everybody listening.
Yeah.
Right.
People need to imagine the image.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
by
And
listening.
they're only going to do that, but the better you paint that
Yeah,
picture,
the better,
right?
Yep, the better
Yeah.
you paint it. And like I said, Brad he's a Hall of Famer for a reason. He is so good at what he does. He's like I said, he's made it easy on me.
Yeah.
I feel blessed to walk into the situation because not everybody's good at it.
Right.
I mean, there's guys out there. There's guys that do professional sports, and we all have them.
Right.
Announcers we can't stand listening to. You know, you just don't
Joe
enjoy
Buck.
It. Yeah, Joe Buck. Joe Buck. Yeah, he's at the top of the list. Chip
Yeah.
Carey's in that list somewhere. No, and I used to love Chip, but he traded. He's a trader. He's on the Cardinals now. So
Yeah.
no, and that's like I said, that's it. You know, painting the picture and letting everybody know this is what's going on out here.
Right.
You know,
You think you could play a soccer match?
I tried one time with the radio, but I mean, not play by play. I was the commentator.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Even as a commentator, it's hard
it is.
Right.
It's
because you don't know what word
yeah,
to say
and that's the
in
thing.
some situations.
When your brain freezes up.
Yeah.
because it happens to everybody. Your brain will freeze up. It's happened to Brad. He's as good as it gets, but your brain does freeze up. Like you think about so many things you want to talk about, and then you forget a word. You're like, man, what's the word I want to use right now? And it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
you know, it does.
It's
And-
hard.
When all
That's
else
part of
fails,
it.
just read a sponsor.
Yep. Yeah, just read a sponsor.
When all else fails, just get one of them money makers in
Get
there.
the money maker in there. No, and like I told you earlier, Sam Statisky, he's an incredible soccer player. Incredible. He's all state, and he wants to go to school to do this. And this is going to be his second year interning with us, and I love the kid. He's such a good kid. Gets great grades, and like I said, all state, all conference.
Did he
team
set a
sports.
record on a
Yeah.
field goal?
Yes, Galesburg's longest field. I believe it was 48 yards.
I'd say, but he set the record.
It
I
set-
thought
yes.
I never met the kid, but I heard about it.
And the thing is, the kid's only supposed to be a junior. He skipped a grade.
Oh yeah,
So like this kid is like he's one of the big time.
he's sharp, huh?
Yeah, he's sharp, and he's. And, I mean, he can kick a football 60 yards.
So
Not
but
a lot of people can do
He's
that.
got a soccer background, right?
And he's all state soccer. He's set the Galesburg record for goals in a year.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And you know, you went to Galesburg. Galesburg soccer's never been great.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, that team was fun to watch. It looked like real professional soccer out there. Like it. They have
That's
a couple.
cool.
Mike Tapper, one of my teammates in
Yeah.
'98. His son was on the team. Very, very good
Yeah.
soccer player. And
Yeah.
you know, the soccer program has taken off at Galesburg.
Good.
He's been a big part of it, and the kid wants to go to school to get into broadcasting
Right.
and do this.
That's awesome.
And I love helping him. I want nothing more. You know, we've talked already about giving him a little bit more responsibility this year, maybe doing some interviews, maybe some sideline reporting, getting him more fluent to the business. You know.
Well, one of the things, Jason, we're at that age, whether we like it or not, but we're at that age where we do have the opportunity to help and influence
Yes.
and
Yes.
shine a positive light
Yes.
to younger
Yeah. And
folks. And,
and-
what a great way.
Yeah, it is. You know, I did that with coaching for 7-8 years. I did that, and coaching was one way of having a positive influence on these kids, man. And it's something. They're the future. I mean, like it or not, with millennials, whatever you want to call them. I mean, these kids, Generation Z, like they they are our future. And, you know, the older you get, the more you care about this stuff. I don't know why it is that way. Because growing up, even in my 20s, I didn't really care about politics and the future. And then you sit back and you get older and you think about these things, man. And it's like, okay, you gotta do your part. You know, you gotta help shape some kids. You know?
If you can help, it sounds cliche-ish, but it's really, if you can make one difference,
just one. Yep.
You did your job.
You did your job.
You know?
And it's, you know, when I was coaching, I always tried to be like, you know, it's you're not always going to make the best players better, but if you can make that whoever's considered the one of the worst players on the team, and you make them a better basketball player by the end of the year, I feel like you've done your job. You know, you make them. You make them a better player. You make them a better citizen. You teach them some things about life. Right. You know, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to use my trauma, what I went through, but I can give some examples of some. You know, man, put your head down and get through something. You know, things will get better. You know, things aren't always going to be bad after a tough loss or whatever. You know, it's not gonna be that way forever. You're gonna win the next game, win the next battle.
He's had some coaching. You know, he coaches soccer and get to work with a lot of young men, especially international students.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
mainly international. Yep. Yeah, I was the coach at Sandberg.
Okay.
Yeah, for 4 years, almost 5 years, and now I'm at Knox.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, let's see. Coach Kevin Hyman that I was talking about, his dad was the longtime coach at Knox.
Yeah.
His brother.
I forgot.
His brother played basketball. They both played basketball. Chris passed away from pancreatic cancer. Very sad deal. One of them is like my little brother, man. And that, you know, Chris, you know how good of a dude he was, man. I don't know anybody that didn't like
the whole family.
The whole family's incredible. Well, if you ever go in Knox gym, it's Coach Hyman Court.
Okay.
That's the coach. He also passed away from cancer.
His two sons were our age.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we, you know, this is my best friend. You know, we grew up together from Gale School all the way through Knox. You know, I didn't go to college. I went to Sandberg for a year. But Kevin was at Knox, and Nick Young and them, they were all at Knox, and they all just had me down there all the time. I was like a student, but I wasn't a student. You know, I was just down there all the time, hanging out. And so I did get a little bit of a college experience, you know, a couple of parties and stuff like that, the Beta House and all that, you know. But, you know, Kevin, I can't thank enough. He's been in my corner.
That's awesome.
From, you know, bringing donuts up after I got sick in the hospital, bringing game film to watch the game. You know, we had a heartbreaker that year to Corey Maggette. Played in the NBA, big time basketball player. He had a shot at the buzzer from like 30 feet to beat us up in Chicago. The next morning, Kevin was in my hospital room with the tape and a box of Sweetos donuts. And RIP Sweetos, we all miss Sweetos. I don't know if you guys, you're probably not aware of Sweetos. I know you
don't know about it.
Sweetos,
Donuts.
Yeah,
a donut shop in
it's
Galesburg.
where Judy's Cafe is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It used to be
absolutely the
Top
best
nine.
donuts in the world. I miss that place. I do.
Yeah.
Now we got to deal with. Now we're getting Dunkin' Donuts, and
We're getting all types of stuff in here now.
you guys know we're getting Chipotle too.
I heard that at Jersey Mike's.
Jersey
I heard
Mike's.
all types of stuff.
It's incredible. Galesburg's on the come up.
Yeah.
So we have Chipotle is coming to Galesburg?
Chipotle coming together.
Really?
This guy.
He's
This
excited.
guy's
I always said to people, like I always said, okay, Galesburg needs a Chipotle.
Yeah.
Chipotle and Panera Bread are two I do not understand on
Yeah,
how we don't have
I don't
those.
understand.
So there is
My
a
girlfriend loves
Chipotle
Panera.
now coming?
Coming.
Okay.
It's going to be where Taco John's is.
Look, this
Oh.
is he's gonna tomorrow at Thanksgiving.
Made me happy.
He's gonna be like, "What are you thankful for?" He's like, "Chipotle is coming."
Chipotle is so good, man. It's one of the best.
It is good.
Quick
I can
food,
get
solid. It's
like
solid.
kind
It's
of,
solid.
it's healthy. Yeah.
it's good.
It's
Healthy.
way better than Taco Bell and Taco John's.
Oh yeah.
Way
So,
better.
We'll take it, man.
And you say things we need. I like Chick-fil-A. I'm partial to Chick-fil-A.
I like Chick-fil-A too.
I love it. I wish Chick-fil-A would come to Galesburg. I could use an olive. I mean, we all say that we've been in Galesburg our whole life, so we know it's always been the same restaurants. And
Well, yeah, they'll come. They
Hopefully.
seem to.
hopefully,
I love those mom and pops, like small business owner ones too.
Yeah.
I
I do.
love that type of stuff.
Yep.
Me
too.
Yeah.
big fan. I'm a big fan of Guacamole Grill.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Guacamole
like
Grill is good.
I like Guacamole Grill.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, the mom Jalisco's.
Yeah.
I'm big Mexican food fan.
Yeah.
So
I just like any of the we can support. It's almost like going back to the radio and our advertiser. If I think the 10.5 years in the radio really solidified that for me, but like really supporting local.
yes,
And
gotta
every
support
chance
local.
we get, you
Got
have to,
Got
man.
to. You know, I try to do that at least once a week. Whether it's having lunch at Sidetracks or, like I said, Guacamole Grill. You know, the people that run Guacamole Grill now bought in Knoxville, the Beaver's Teeth. Beaver's Teeth place.
They got good food there.
Oh,
too.
it's solid. It's solid food.
Yeah.
You can go in there and have a good time, throw some axes around. And
Right.
It's a good time for everybody, you know.
Yeah.
And like you said, support the small businesses, man. They need it. They need it more than the big brands. You ask me. So that's why I try to do at least once a week. You know, give a little bit of money back to the small businesses.
So Jason, where can people catch you on the play-by-play? Basketball season is about to start.
About to start. WGIL, WGIL.com. Either one.
It's 1400
WGIL.
AM.
AM. The FM is 93.3. I feel terrible.
But 1400 AM.
1400
That's
AM.
Right. We won't put you on the spot.
Yeah. Don't. We might have to edit that out. No. No. It's like I said. WGIL.com. If you want to stream it, it's every game. Like I said, we kick off tomorrow night at 7:30. We got the Limestone Rockets coming to town. Then we face Chicago Ogden, Chicago Wells, and a school named Madison, who's down by St. Louis. And they're a smaller school. They're like 2A, 1A or 2A, but they're very competitive.
Yeah.
They come. I think they got second in the tournament last year at the Turkey tournament. So,
well, maybe if we don't have anything Friday or Saturday, maybe I'll hit you up. We'll go pop in and watch a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
or we'll just sit in the car and listen to Jason.
You just sit in the car and
Let's do
it. No,
Jason, man. Go ahead.
You know, and it is. I get the more people that come to these games. You know, it's not like it used to be. The crowd's not as thick.
I've told my kids, like, you don't understand how full this was when we were here.
There was 5,000 people.
Whoa.
For real.
I mean, it was packed. It was a must-have ticket. It was.
And if you weren't there for 30 minutes, if you weren't there watching the JV game, you weren't even going to have a seat at the varsity.
You weren't going to
game.
be able to stay and watch. So no, I want that to come back for Galesburg sports. I want people in the stands. You know, we get butts in the seats, man. It's a good thing for the kids. The kids need the support. The coaches need the support. You know, Galesburg basketball is a big thing. You know, you grew up around here. Galesburg basketball it's a big thing, and it needs to get back to where it was.
Right.
And I feel like Chad's got that going in the right direction.
I think so.
There's some kids coming in these younger classes. Some guys we went to school with, their sons are starting to come along, and there's a couple classes back to back where they got a chance to turn this thing around and get Galesburg back to where it's supposed to be.
That'd be awesome.
You know, it's going to be Moline and Quincy probably again this year. And Moline won the state championship last year, and so got two kids at the University of Iowa playing now, and they've got off to a good start for them. And so we're excited. We're get back here, year 2 of broadcasting Galesburg basketball.
Yeah.
You know? Pretty excited.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely tune in and maybe even catch you this weekend at a game.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope to see you guys there.
Well, thanks, man, for coming. I greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah.
This is a blast. This is, talking and just shooting the proverbial, I don't know if we can cuss, but you know what I'm saying.
But it went good.
No, it is. It's fun, and I hope you guys have me back sometime, man, and maybe I could bring Sam or Brad. And
we'd love to. We can throw another mic on there.
Oh, yeah,
We've
for sure.
before.
They are very good people and very good at what they do. And like I said, Sam's trying to do this for his job, and I'm trying to help him out as much as possible and get him off in the right direction. And he took a visit to Lake Forest. He's still thinking about whether or not he wants to play sports, but he's got like Syracuse, Kansas, big time broadcasting schools on his radar. So hopefully the kid takes off and makes Galesburg proud and becomes a big time broadcaster somewhere.
I hope so, man. Yeah. Well, thanks again, Jason.
No, I thank you guys, and you guys do good work, man. And I'm excited to get back on here sometime, man.
Yeah,
you guys have me back. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for coming.
You guys, it's a Talk About It podcast. Jason Wessels, catch him on 1400 AM, by the way, WGIL for the Galesburg basketball. You're tuned into the Talk About It podcast. We appreciate your support. We got Victor Dantas. I'm Lauren Fulmer. Have a good day.
Subscribe to the channel.
Hit it. Thank you for watching this episode of the Talk About It podcast.
I'm Victor Dantas.
I'm Lauren Fulmer.
And we would encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell. It's going to be right below the video. So
hit the bell.
So you know when the next episode is up.
We appreciate all the support.
Thank you.